Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join this webinar today. Excited to show you how you're going to get more out of your Locable account and out of your marketing efforts in general. To start today, I'm going to share with you a few slides, a few things that will help you have a good understanding, and then we'll transition and we'll do the live tutorials. So with that, let me switch over. And now you should be seeing my PowerPoint. So as we run through this, the goal here is to help you simplify local marketing, to make the tasks that you have to do faster and easier for you and your team, and help you take back local. That is to help you leverage the two things that make up your unfair advantage: your authenticity and your relationships. Now, a little about me. If you're not familiar with Locable, I am the founder and CEO. I started this as an MBA research project when I was at the University of Washington, and I was studying marketing strategy, looking for ways to simplify marketing, the things I was learning in class, how to share that with my friends and family who run small businesses back home. I also have a master's degree in space studies because I'm a space geek and I love rockets and exploration, bachelor's in business, and I'm a product guy. So I love hearing feedback and incorporating that into what we build. And I've taught entrepreneurship at the undergraduate and graduate level. Locable started a decade ago, almost to the day, as it turns out, as a research project. We began working with local publishers and currently work with over 120 around the country. So if you're looking for ways to advertise and promote in your market, we're happy to talk to you about what opportunities exist and what you should pursue. We've introduced a number of services to serve them, and by doing so, learned how to really create a lot of engagement around content, build community, leverage SEO, social media in sustainable ways, as opposed to flavor of the month or shiny objects that tend to pop up and distract people. Just last year, we introduced Local Connections, which is our free cross-promotional tool, which we'll talk about just very briefly, and our Marketing 3-4-5 framework, which we'll spend a moment on here shortly. Today's goals, or today's topics rather, are really quite straightforward. We're going to run through how to get more out of your Locable account. We're going to talk about the contact forms and notifications, how that works. We'll talk about driving and promoting customer reviews. We'll talk about content, specifically events and quick blog posts. And next, we'll actually take a look at our Marketing 3-4-5 program so you can understand how to get the most out of your marketing. So this came about because we've had many conversations with small businesses and nonprofits and people in need of doing local marketing who just had a misunderstanding of the role of marketing, the breadth of it, and what the benefits are for them, for their customers, and for their community. And so we created this simple yet effective framework to make it really easy for non-marketers, non-techies to get it. So it goes like this. There are 3 simple reasons for any organization to do marketing. There's 4 reasons people choose to work with you, and there's 5 ways that they find you. 3, 4, 5. The 3 reasons to do marketing: obviously to attract customers, but also to build your team and to serve your community. If you're hiring or looking to retain your staff, there's marketing you can do on that front. And obviously there's a lot you can do to support your community through various sponsorships and supportive activities. The 4 reasons people choose to work with you really go beyond core competence, because generally speaking, there's other options available. And so it comes down to, what is your unique experience and expertise? What is your likability? Do I enjoy being with you, working with you, visiting your restaurant? Is it convenient? How does it make me feel as a consumer? And then your values, which again are often related to community involvement. If I'm looking for a plumber, I don't really know how to pick a plumber. So if I see 1 volunteers for Habitat for Humanity, that might be the deciding factor. And finally, the 5 ways people find you is through direct traffic and referrals. Obviously the best always will be the best. There's things you can do to drive that forward, but it's not enough. And that's where advertising and social media, basically promotion, comes in. Of course, email marketing is still incredibly valuable. If I had to trade an email subscriber for a Facebook fan, I'd never do it. Email is far too valuable. Web search with Google, because they own that little smartphone in your pocket as well as your computer. And then cross promotion, tapping into your local connections and our free tools to help you do that enable you to do quite a bit. So the key here is that you need to create content. That content could be a blog post, it could be an event, it could be a job opportunity, volunteer opportunity, it could even be a customer review. And that content needs to live on your website. If you're posting content directly into social media, or you're sending specific content directly via email, you're doing 95% of the work for 5 to 20% of the benefit. It should live on your website. It is your home online. And so if you look at that graphic, the blue circle in the middle is your online home. And that content then gets shared out to Facebook and it links back, and it gets shared out to email and it links back. And you see that both email and Facebook serve the same purpose, to take your content and put it in front of people. Now there's times to post directly into Facebook, but it's usually limited to the light, simple things. The litmus test is if you would like someone who has referred to you to see the content, or you'd like to rank on Google for the content, it needs to live on your website. Now, because you're a Locable client and a user of our platform, you get to use our free local connections tools, which is what that red bar represents. That is the ability to cross-promote with other businesses and nonprofits in your community, folks that you already know, like, trust, and support, and use our free tools to highlight events or jobs or blog posts or just the fact that you like them in a directory. And so one piece of content can go all of these places, and of course, Google sees all. Now, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking today about what makes content and how is content easy to create, but I will highlight one example from our workshop and webinars, and that is for those of you that have a visual product, you can highlight a creation. Whether you're cutting hair, baking cakes, a landscaper, doing work on a home, if you have an output that you can take a picture of and do a before and after or just an after, it's really easy to do blog posts. You just explain what you did, how you did it, who it was for, any challenges you ran into, and unique skills that you used to overcome those challenges, and a customer quote if you can get it. You continue to demonstrate this and you will rank on Google, you'll have great content for social media, and it will support your sales efforts all along the way. If this doesn't apply to your business, don't worry, there's many other opportunities for you to create content, and we can talk about that in a future session. Do note, as we talk through today, you are going to want to make sure you consistently include calls to action throughout your website and blog posts. Get people to do the next thing. We're busy, we're distracted, we're preoccupied. Don't make people guess. Join now, call now, click now, whatever it is. And remember, it's called the World Wide Web for a reason. Include links to connect within your content and web pages. That adds value and helps with SEO. One last note on content. People don't go to your website looking for your blog. They don't go to our website looking for our blog. Nevertheless, this blog is incredibly important. And so the tools we provide allow you to add context. Not only can you visit Locable's marketing blog and learn all of these great tools and techniques and so forth, which you should be doing, but if you're looking at, let's say, our website services, which some of you have, and you're on our website page, as you scroll down, you will see blog posts specifically about websites, how we approach websites, how we improve websites, and so forth. So there's now context that's relevant for you, the person looking at that. If you're a restaurant and you have a page about catering and your catering services, you should highlight the blog posts that you've done about catering. It is relevant to that particular visitor. So that was a very brief introduction to Marketing 345. We do have 2 upcoming marketing quick courses for our Marketing 345. So you can go to locable.com/345 to learn more about that. One is September 25th, one is October 9th. Both will be accessible for you for free. I encourage you to attend, and if you know of anyone who runs a small business or nonprofit that might be interested in improving their marketing and getting some free tips and techniques that they can use instantly, that will be a great course for them. Do note that today we're going to talk about customer reviews amongst other things, and customer reviews are the modern day testimonials. Our tools included in our service for you enable you to drive these, collect these, promote them. It acts as what's called social proof, as in credibility. And it's very good for SEO and social media, but it also drives word of mouth, because when you request a review from someone who had a great experience, they are encouraged to promote you, let alone reminded to promote you. So with that in mind, we're going to head over to the tutorial. All right, now I did allude to the fact that we have our our marketing blog, and I do encourage you to check this out and take a look. There's a lot of tips and techniques and tricks and so forth that you can utilize in your own marketing. But what we're going to do first is we're going to start with forms and how that form system works. Now, our form builder gives you lots of options, and you can include simple forms or more complex forms. And we also offer what we call an instant contact page, and this is becoming very popular. Here, as you can see, La Vintage Pink Door is a local business and actually nonprofit, supports a local nonprofit. And they're using the instant contact page form to generate all of these things that you can see here. And so when they update their hours, their phone number, their address, etc., it updates this form. If they have a new social media profile or they take one down, it updates the form. And when someone completes the form, it goes into their account, it notifies them, but it also saves it in their account. So let's take a look at your Locable dashboard. When you're signed in, you will have something that looks similar to this. And as you scroll down, you will see the form submission section here. The most recent forms will appear at the top. You will, of course, be notified, but if you ever delete that notification form, don't worry, it's going to still be here. And you can also access it over here in the sidebar in the area called Contact Forms. Now, if you're accessing this on mobile, it will look very similar but stacked on top of each other, and you may need to click this green button to expose contact forms. And then you can come in here and you can manage the forms that you have. And you can see we're using many forms for different reasons. You can always create a new form, and you can also look at form submissions and set your notifications. So you can click set notifications and choose who will be notified. Instead of user one, it will say your name, other users' names. It's important to note, we, for spam reasons, can only notify users on your account. So you can come in, click your name and manage users, and you can add users to your account. They will appear here. If you have some users on your account who don't care to be notified, simply remove that and save it. And they will not be notified of future forms. They'll still have access to all the information in their account. They just simply won't be notified. Now, the next thing we want to talk about here today is customer reviews. And so customer reviews, well, frankly, there's lots of ways that you can take advantage of these, but let me back all the way out. When you're looking at your dashboard, you've got a quick jump bar here at the top. Now on desktop, you can actually use your mouse and slide side to side. Same for on mobile. And you'll see one option here is request customer reviews. Likewise, it lives over here on the left for feedback and reviews. But it all starts by you sending a request. So let's click into this. And here's a simple form. You can either start with someone's email address, or if they're already in your contact database, you can access them there. They get in your contact database by filling out a form on your site, like the instant contact page or another form, as well as you simply adding them. But if you don't have them already, you can add them and hit send request. The process is quite simple. They get an email that says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to a friend? If they click a low number, we ask for private feedback. If they click a high number, we ask for a review. A very simple review form, 1 to 5 stars, and how would you describe your experience? When they submit that, it goes into your account. It can be set to either auto-publish or be approved. It's up to you. And they also get prompted to share to social media and refer a friend. If you click into the reviews section, you'll notice that you have the option to auto-publish if it's at or above a certain star level. And again, to set notifications, it works exactly the same way. Your reviews will then flow in here and appear. And you can show your reviews anywhere on your website that you would like by creating reviews widgets. And you can come in and choose the type of layout, 1 at a time that scrolls like a carousel, 3, or a list view. At Locable, I'll give you a couple of quick examples of how we highlight customer reviews. You may even see your own there as well. So we sprinkle customer reviews a few places throughout the site, including the home page. And so this is the default view, shows 1 at a time and it cycles through. And then you can click read more. when you're on our web builder, it will take you to a unique page. If you're on our embed, it will load it in line and it shows up here. The web builder version is fully optimized for Google. The other version has some optimization, but there's some limitations just because it's embedded on your site. And then you have the list view, which is quite literally a list of your reviews. So that corresponds to default on our homepage and list view. We don't use columns on our particular website. Reviews are great. It's something that you should be collecting. Our free service includes 5 requests a month. Our paid service is unlimited, and there's really quite a bit you can do with that. Now, many of you on the call are in our web builder plan, and so I thought I'd take a moment. I know that through the course of creating your website, you should get a fair amount of experience using our web builder, but I wanted to highlight a common question or sticking point that could be useful to address. And so I'm going to use Marilyn's site here. She asked us to update her testimonials page. Usually this is something you'll do yourself, but I figured I'd use the opportunity to, well, to train everyone. And so her testimonials page highlights some testimonials. Now, these are not customer reviews. These were solicited offline. I do recommend you use the reviews tool, but you can do both and you can mix and match. And so you can see the reviews page, and she has one review here with a picture, a couple, oh, I misspoke, a testimonial here with a picture, and then a couple testimonials side by side. I do recommend pictures if you can. If you're going through the effort to collect it offline, might as well grab that picture, and then a call to action. And this is the admin page. And so there's a couple easy options. The first is she goes from 2 columns to 3 columns, and she can put a testimonial here. So let's take a look at that. I'll remove the title because we're not using the title, and I will copy the testimonial from another window, and I will paste it in. Now, when you copy and paste, as always, there could be any number of formatting issues, so we just want to quickly clean that up. I always set it to use paragraphs, and you could do other formatting if you'd like as well. Looks like there was a typo there too. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that and pop back to the front end and refresh the page. And you can see now there's 3 columns side by side. If you don't like that look, you feel it's crowded, you just want to mix it up, you could also come in here and take this same item, say, I'm going to actually create a new content block. I'll just paste it in, and I will drag it up. I'll remove the header. Now, there's no picture, so we can either leave it like this, or we can cycle through, make it full width. I usually don't love full width, but for reviews, it's not a bad idea. And I will go remove that item and go back to 2. So now we've got the 2 columns, and we've got a content block below. And so you can see this is more full width. You might want to go even a touch further and add a little background here. So you can use a color picker. I like just a very light gray. And in fact, here, let's add a call to action. And we can make this a gray as well. And so after we save and refresh the front page, you can see some different options that had a color applied already. So I'm going to go ahead and remove and make that transparent. So depending on what settings you already had on your website, you may need to make some adjustments, but now you can see a call to action, and there's more editing you could do if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and remove this background color and just go back to the white background. So I'll leave this for Marilyn. She can come in and take a look and make adjustments if she'd like. But at any point, if you have a website that you want to adjust, or in the case here, you notice everything is italicized. Again, you can come in and very easily make adjustments on your own. All right, so we've talked about forms and notifications. We've talked about customer reviews, how to collect them, how to highlight them, how to add them to your website. and a few updates to pages. We're going to close with some content, events, and blog posts. And for that, I'm going to switch over and use the Placerville Downtown Association as an example. Placerville is my hometown, and I have the good fortune of working with their director and their community to promote the Main Street and the community at large. And so here we have their account. Now you'll notice a couple of things. First and foremost, they're using our local connections tools. And so every month they're reaching almost 13,000 people for free automatically when they post content to their website, because other businesses and nonprofits in the community are highlighting their events and their information. This is something that you can totally activate for yourself. If you have questions about this, you would like help, use our help center here, click in the sidebar down here to contact us, and we'll be happy to help you. Now, they do a couple of things quite often. They do events, quick posts, and custom posts. So let's come in here and look at some of their events, which lives under Events Manage. And you can see the various events that they have coming up. In the admin, they appear based on when you posted it. Now, if you have similar events that are slightly different but similar, you can use this clone feature. You can also set up recurring events for things like farmers markets and so forth if you have a recurring event or a class. But let's go ahead and click into here and look at this particular event. So creating events really couldn't be much easier. You can do this from your computer. You can do this from your phone. By default, you choose whether it's an event, a class, or a deadline. If you have a business that has classes, you'll obviously select that option. And you can create separate calendars for each use case as well. Now, you have the option here to give it a descriptive title. I'd recommend something perhaps a little more verbose, but that's good nevertheless. Festival of Lights, holiday tree lighting in Placerville, maybe. Your description, and they're doing a nice job with having some links in here. And you can see they've set a date, a start time, and end time. End time is optional. It's not recurring. This is a one-time thing, but you could make it recurring. If it is private, or you want to highlight an RSVP is required, you can do those. And then you can, in the advanced section, set a price and link out to where they can RSVP or a link to buy a ticket or that sort of thing. We do recommend that you set a description and a custom image here, which will give you full control over how it looks when it's shared. And then you can also use categories and tags for better filtering. By default, it will use your company's location. Of course, you can change it to a custom location if it's offsite or you have a PO box in this particular case. So creating events, really quite easy. And then of course you can clone them at any point. If you have a video you'd like to use instead of a picture, you can choose to embed that from YouTube or Facebook or wherever. So events are a great way for you to highlight your content, and then you click into events and create a calendar embed, which you can then put on your website. If you're using our web builder, this can be dropped in natively. If you're not, if you use another web builder platform, you can copy this code and drop it in. Here's where you configure what content you're showing. In this particular case, it's only the content from this account. Your default view, the types of content, and the number of items per page. You can always modify this after it's been installed, and it will update on your website instantly. Finally, the last thing I want to hit on as we come to the end is blog posts. And so blogging is often a scary notion, but ideally it's drawn from real life. And if it can be inspired by a picture or a person or both, you want to do that. But blog posts live under marketing messages and manage posts. And you can come in here and you can see all of your posts. In some of these cases, they're event previews that complement the event in the calendar, event recaps like the Brewfest, and it allows you to do quite a bit to grow engagement and rank on Google. So you can see this particular post was created looking back at the Brewfest. Obviously pictures are great. I'll hide this recommended thing. And there's links to participants and different things that are relevant to the actual event. The Q&A approach is great, and you can see they've embedded a feedback form, which is something you can absolutely do. I believe that is a Google form for the survey. You can obviously clone events, as you see that icon there, as well as cloning posts. And then you can, of course, edit posts. Now, our custom posts as opposed to quick posts. Our custom posts work a lot like our web pages, where they're made out of layers. So everywhere you see these three lines called the hamburger menu, hamburger icon, is a different layer, and they can be dragged and dropped to reordered, but also they can be used to create different images and text alignments, full width versus side by side. So gives you a lot of control over your content. It does take a bit more time to complete than a quick post. So in many cases, if you have a short post, especially with a single image, I recommend you use quick post, which is much more akin to a Facebook post that lives on your website. Here you simply upload the image or browse from what's already been uploaded or embed, give it a title and describe what happened, and you're good to go. In all cases, in all content, you have the advanced section that we definitely recommend you customize your description for sharing purposes. That's what appears when shared to Facebook, and set your image so that you can ensure it appears as you desire. You can also backdate or schedule content as well. So a common question is around tags. So with the growth of Instagram and Twitter and hashtags and the whole hashtag scheme to get viewed, people tend to get carried away with tags. Let me clarify, this is not that. This is also not meta tags for the purpose of SEO, because that's not a thing for the last 20 years. What tags simply allows you to do is organize your content. So when you click into advanced, you've got categories which you're going to use very regularly, and tags are a little more free form. So in this case, a tag might be, Brewfest, and there is no Brewfest here. So I might say Brewfest, and I would click enter to add the tag. And then every time I do a post about Brewfest, I would tag it as such. And that gives me flexibility to have all of those be grouped together. You can have more than one tag, but you really should limit it to 1 or 2 or maybe 3 if you have a great reason. This is not free form. If you don't expect to have future posts or multiple posts with the same tag, don't even bother. There's no benefit. In fact, it confuses the system, and not our system, it just confuses people. Categories should be used on nearly every post based on your most common use cases. In the case of Placerville, they regularly highlight businesses, spotlighting them, so they have a featured businesses option. In this case, maybe they would have, restaurant if they really wanted to limit it and have the ability to show you restaurants in Placerville. But that's how you would use tags and categories on your website. Again, if you have any questions or you'd like us to review how you're posting your content, please use our help center to do that directly.